Hey everybody, welcome to Becoming a Healthy Gamer, the journey. I am Midnight Gamer and I'm going to lead you through this journey. It's going to be mine as well as hopefully yours. A number of you will come along for the journey, bring in the conversations, the questions, things like that, so we can have an open discussion as we go through this journey. So what really is the purpose of this video? The purpose of this video for myself personally is to become a healthier gamer. And I know a number of you are going to look at it and you're going to say, well, yeah, I know you need to lose weight. I know that. I know I need to lose weight. I know I want to lose weight. It's not necessarily a case of I need to, but I want to. But this journey is not just about me losing weight and playing video games behind the scenes. This journey is about talking about, on average, what do people need to do to become healthier in the gaming world? A lot of us are playing video games, we're playing them excessively. I enjoy it, trust me. I would love it. I love to sit down for 2-3 hours. But what's a realistic amount of time to spend with it? And, what other issues can there be when you spend excessive periods of time playing video games? There's nothing wrong with them, and we'll get into my history. I love video games. So I'm not here to say you need to stop playing them, but what I want to do is I want to help you find ways that you can keep playing them into your 80s, so that you're not seizing up. Gaming's not just about how much weight you have, but it's also the rest of your physical things, your joints, your eyes, all of that, along with your mental stability, and I'm going to say your soul. And really I describe your soul as who you are and the image that you portray out to everybody when you're gaming and when you're doing online gaming. So that's really what this journey is about. During the weekly sessions, we will talk about, first of all, we'll recap how my week went. I'm going to ask you guys to hold me accountable to making sure that I follow through on what my plans are and that things are going. And I'm also going to talk about any issues that I might have had or concerns. I'm going to bring that forward. I want everybody else, if you're following along and you're joining me for the journey, that's great, and I really appreciate it, and the more the merrier. Let's do this together. We're all gamers, so I think we understand each other, how much time we want to spend playing video games versus spending time in the gym. I've yet to see a gym come up with the ability to let me play video games on the treadmill. It would be great if they did, because man, I'd be in the gym all the time. So all the power to those gyms. If they want to go and do that, they might get more gamers in there. But other than that, how do we balance it? How do we balance, getting the physical exercise that we need if we have day jobs that we sit, or just jobs that we sit a lot, and then we come home and we play video games? What's the difference? Other conversations. I don't have kids, but if you have kids, I'm really would love to hear from you. How do you fit it all in? How do you fit all of this stuff in and still get your gaming done? If you're like me and you're doing YouTube, how do you get your recording done? Things like that. So all of this is about becoming a healthy gamer, because you also need to fit this into your daily lives. A lot of us have probably heard, I don't know if you have, but the World Health Organization has deemed gaming as a mental illness, or the stereotypical gamer. So then they've got this image, the guy that sits in their basement, has 4 screens and lets the world go by. That's what they consider a mental illness. It's not all of us, but there is a fine balance. So if you want to prove to your parents, if you're still with your parents, or you want to prove to your friends or your family or your loved ones that there's nothing wrong with you spending a couple hours a night playing video games, how about we do this journey together and we show them how we can be healthy and play video games? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am not, by any sense of the imagination, any registered health person. I am looking at taking some courses into nutrition, things like that, just to to get the information to back it up. I've gone to a lot of courses. I've also been a member of a number of weight loss organizations, so I've got that information. It doesn't make me an expert, which is why I'm asking you. I'm asking you as well. Give me your questions. Give me your comments. What have you heard? What have you seen out there? There's a lot of specialists out there on the internet. How do we distinguish one from the other? How does one help us over another one? So those are the kinds of things we're going to do. A little bit about myself. So I'm not a specialist, and I'm not here to tell you that this is what you have to do. But who I am actually a gamer. By heart, I am a gamer. Did I game all my life? No, I gamed off and on all my life. But I started gaming when I was about 7. I think my brother, if he's watching, he could probably comment on whether I'm correct on that. I can't narrow it down completely. But we started in around now. We started with the Magnavox Odyssey. So anybody who's not aware of that console, that was kind of the equivalent of the Atari. I always thought of it as the cheaper version of the Atari. I've since later grown to know that that's actually the European console versus the Atari, which is the North American console. So the Atari had, not the Atari, but the Magnavox had games very similar to the Atari, where they had Pac-Man, we had Casey Munchkin. So same sort of thing, just, sort of seemed like, the cheaper version of something. But it was still fun, just the same. And my brother and I enjoy it a lot. Enjoyed playing it. I will tell you, I'm not a rock star when it comes to gaming. I'm not at the top of the heap. I'm not the guy in the top 500. Would I love to be? Yes. Do I have the drive for one particular game to make it as top? Not really. I love playing all different kinds of games. So what you're going to see in the back during these videos are clips of my gameplay in different games. Right now it's Diablo 3 that's going on behind because we're in the middle of a season. But I will change it up. I will be doing some of the mobiles. I love mobiles. I have an hour-long bus ride to work, so I love mobile games as well because it keeps me entertained on the bus. So there'll be some of that. We're going to change it up with a few other games as well that I'll be doing. If you have suggestions or a game you'd like me to try, let me know. Drop a line down on the bottom. So besides that, I've, off and on throughout university, I didn't play a lot during university. It was very console driven at the time. I didn't own a console. I had friends who had Nintendo, but nobody really owned their own PC. Families owned them, but nobody came to university with their own computer. We had typewriters. So that's dating me. I'll tell you, I don't know if I did tell you, I'm 46, so that probably will give you an idea. But I did enjoy it, so off and on. And then once I finished university, had my own job. I got a Sega Dreamcast. Played that for a number of times. Now I've got a whole whack of them. Right now I play a lot on the Xbox. I think you might see in the picture behind me. I've got the Nintendo Wii. We have the PlayStation 4. So we have a lot of consoles. My partner and I, and he and I play a lot of video games in our life. So it's for the longest time it was something I played, enjoyed randomly. Now it's something that I try to do at least once a day, as much as possible. Sometimes I need to take a break, and that's a good thing to do too, is just kind of get your head refocused and take a break. So that's who I am and where I've come from. I have a day job, and so that doesn't mean I can sit and spend all day long playing video games. I don't have kids, but I can only imagine what it's like trying to get children as well as gaming into it. Gaming is kind of my baby. So that's where I am. So in the week ahead, these videos will be going up. I'm planning on having the videos go up regularly on Sundays. I know that this one is not going up on a Sunday, but they will go up regularly on Sundays initially. If people deem that they want a little bit more conversation, a little bit more video discussion, you need a little help during the week, just somebody to chat with, somebody that says everything's going okay or not going okay, drop me a line. I can always look at doing that. We'll look at live as well at some point once I figure out all the technical stuff. I'm not a tech guru at all. As you can tell, I'm using the camera on my PC. And what we'll do in each week is there'll be a topic. We'll talk about maybe something that's happening in the world regarding the health of gamers, things that, organizations, companies are doing, governments are trying to regulate, all of that kind of stuff. So we'll do a little bit of a conversation, mainly give you my opinions, and then we'll check in. We'll check in. How's the week going? What are we doing, and what are the challenges for the following week? What are we going to try to do? One thing I have learned that you don't want to be doing is you don't want to put too much onto yourself at one time. So if anybody's decided they want to come along for this journey, and I welcome everybody who wants to come along for this journey, Pick a couple things. If you want to start out first by adding exercise, that's great. If you want to start out by eating a little bit healthier, that's great. What I've decided to do is I'm meal planning, so I'm getting my eating in order, trying to reduce what I'm eating. I have an addiction to potato chips. I'll tell you that right now. That's my biggest addiction. Potato chips kind of leads everything else. It's sort of, once I start eating potato chips, it skyrockets. It goes from the small bag to the big one. And I've learned that it doesn't matter. I can portion out that little one. It's amazing how many of those portions you can do. And I still know that I've done that many portions. So that's one thing I've decided is to remove the potato chips from my life. I have an addiction. I know it is not nearly as serious as an addiction to alcohol or drugs, but it is still an addiction for me, and it will make me spiral downward in my eating. So that is one thing that I have done, and I will check in with you to tell you whether or not I've succeeded and how the mental stuff has gone on, because it's amazing how they call to you. This inanimate object can speak, and it can telepathy. It's great. It tells you when it's on sale, and it calls. It says, "Hey, Midnight Gamer, you want some, right?" Just before you play that game. So that's one of the things. So I'm really focusing on that initially. I have a bit of a knee injury at the moment, so mobility is a little bit of difficulty. However, I'm also starting to move a little bit more. So I have yet to get off the bus early, but I am getting up at lunchtime and going for a little bit of a walk. I have an hour-long lunch, so I get up, I go for a little bit of a walk. Nicely thing is I'm using Pokemon Go to get myself mobile and going. I work in the downtown core of where I live, so there's a lot of Pokemon out. So that helps me get up and get going to move. So those are the two things that I've done. Along with those, I've put out a schedule. So I've actually picked 3 things. So one, properly meal plan for the week, and make sure that that's done. And then, do I have the proper meal going? I'm not tracking right now. I know a lot of people say to track. My partner, he is tracking. I have tried tracking, and it stresses me out to no end. It actually makes me think about food a whole lot more. So I've decided to experiment. I know what my portion sizes should be. I've put in more fruits and vegetables as snacks in between. I've added nuts as snacks in between. And I'm hoping by meal planning and getting the proper stuff and no deviation from that this will actually help me, and I won't need to meal plan. So we might have to change, and sometimes you have to. Sometimes one thing's not working and you need to change. So we're going to go with that and see how that works. And then movement, adding a little bit more movement into my life. That's what we'll do for now. And then from there, we'll pick up and go. When it comes to movement, some people might say, we'll get a gym membership and go. As mentioned here earlier, that's not happening. I've tried. And one thing I will tell you, a lot of the stuff that I've done, I will admit whether I've tried it in the past or not. And if I've tried it in the past, I'm one of those people that thinks things through, that will analyze why I was successful or wasn't successful. And I'll tell you right now that as much as I enjoy every once in a while going to the gym, it's not something I can do for the rest of my life. I do, however, have a treadmill. So, and it's sitting here right beside me. And like most people's treadmills, it's covered in everything else. So one of the goals in the next couple of weeks is to get that uncovered so that I can, as my knee starts to incorporate better, I can actually start moving on the treadmill and doing some of that when it's raining or things like that. So I'm very much a walker. Love to put my music on and just go. So that's great. And there's some wonderful gaming songs out there that just motivate me and get me into the mood to come back home and sit down for those gaming sessions. So that's who I am, what we're going to do in this video. I really hope that, everybody comes along, and I'd love to hear your comments and suggestions, concerns. If you have websites or information you think that's helped you, you'd love to share it. I'm all for that. Topics, something that's confusing you, something that you've read. I love to investigate. One of the biggest things I love to do is solve a problem. I'm not saying that this is a problem, and I'm not saying I'm the one who could solve it, but what I am saying is I will investigate it for you. If you have a question, I will see what I can find and then we'll have a discussion about it. Talk about it, and I'll present to you what I found. So join me. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Hit that little reminder so that you know when the video's gone live on Sundays. And hope to see you next Sunday.